Hi, my darlings. I'm Sophie Darling, and welcome back to the channel. If you love anime, heartfelt reactions, and deep dives into symbolism and themes, then you're in the right place. Before we jump into today's reaction, don't forget to hit that like button to show some love, subscribe if you haven't already, and ring that notification bell so you never miss a moment of fun. And if you want even more exclusive content like early access to my reactions, full length anime watch alongs, and an amazing community of fellow anime lovers, please do check out my Patreon. You can find a link in the description box below. Your support truly means the world as it helps keep these reactions coming, and I'd love to have you join our cozy little anime family. Today, we're reacting to episode 28 of series 4 of Attack on Titan, and the finale is coming, and I am not ready for it. We are watching the final attack, which is the movie version. It's been highly recommended, so we are not going to watch the original 2 episodes. We are going to watch the movie version. I will be splitting it up into potentially 3 or 4 parts. Just to make it more manageable, I only have one day to film, which is Saturday. Sunday is for editing, and then I work Monday to Friday, and I also do editing Monday to Friday as well. So I don't always have the time to film as much as I would like to, because it's 2.5 hours long, and I'm most likely going to also be talking a lot. It's probably going to push close to maybe 4 hours of recording or maybe more. That's an entire day of filming essentially. And I also have another series to film for, which is Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. And I also am starting Squid Games for our Darlings Elite tier on Patreon. It will eventually come to YouTube, but it is going to be exclusive for the time being to our Darlings Elite tier. And it's just a way to give them more additional content. I really struggle with watching movies. I don't know what it is. TV series? Fine. I can sit and watch a TV series. A movie? No, my attention starts to wander, I start getting distracted, I stop talking. I just don't understand why. I'm just not good with watching movies. I really just don't have the attention span for it. Whereas, like episodes, because it's broken up, it feels more manageable, it feels easier, which is why I'm also breaking up the movie for the final attack. Because if I just sit here and watch the entire thing, it's not going to be as good of content as what it could be. I don't want to impact the quality of the finale. I feel that if I don't give it the attention that it deserves by breaking it up, I am not going to do it justice. I'm gonna take my time with it, and also I know that it's gonna be highly emotional, and because it's highly emotional, I'm gonna cry a lot, and when I cry a lot, I also give myself really bad headaches, and I don't want to be filming if I have a bad headache. It just doesn't seem real to me that we are at this point. It really doesn't. We've come so far in 9 months. There's now over 11,000 of you here on this channel, which is still mind blowing to me. I don't understand how 11,000 of you are following me on this journey. And I'm so incredibly grateful. Thank you so much. And there is over 800 of you on Patreon, which again is absolutely insane to me. So thank you everyone for supporting my content and being here and watching me be my silly little self as I film videos. I'm incredibly honored and incredibly grateful to be in the position that I'm in. And hopefully we'll be on this journey for a subsequently long time because I don't intend to go anywhere. So we are going to be here for the foreseeable. I'm going to be old and grey and haggard and still filming react content for you all. Freyren series 15. And I'm gonna be like old man Volt, like sat here like, oh yes, I remember when this first released in series 1. It's gonna be like, okay, grandma, calm down. But last episode of Attack on Titan. Oh my god, if this episode is anything like the last episode, I'm going to be an absolute mess. I was heartbroken. Absolutely inconsolable. I don't think I spoke for like the entirety of that scene because I just couldn't quite fathom that this was happening, that we were about to lose Theo and Keith in one fell swoop. But the way that their story ended was just everything you could have wanted and more. They both got their redemption. They both died for something bigger than themselves. They atoned for what they believed to be the sins of their past, and just it couldn't have been more poetic. A Malian and an Aldean dying side by side together in order to achieve a greater purpose, a greater mission. Just I'm not over it. And then Gabby having to witness it, and then Annie having to come to the realization that like her dad's probably dead and all the people she knows and loves probably dead. And I have a really itchy nose. I'm really sorry. I've got like a cat that is molting at the minute. So like his hair is everywhere because it's been so warm in the UK. So he's just shedding hair like mad. And I keep finding his hair like on my face, on my clothes. So like if I just randomly start itching my nose, I'm not picking my nose, I promise. You have to pay extra for that content. I'm kidding. It's just he's molting and it's everywhere and I can feel it on my face. It's causing me to like scratch my nose because my nose is itchy. So again, we're off topic here. Either way, absolutely devastating. And I know the finale is going to absolutely fucking destroy me. I have a handkerchief. It's not really a handkerchief. It's a microfiber cloth because the tissue's just not going to cut it for the finale. I need something more absorbent than fucking tissue. Let's be real. So I have a cloth that I'm going to be using to wipe the trauma from me. This is what I've been pushed to. But usually I don't have anything, and then I'm just there kind of like wiping at my face profusely because like I don't have a tissue, I don't have anything to wipe my face. I like use my shirt, so I've come prepared. We're going to lose some people in the finale, and I know it. We're going to have some tragic deaths, and I'm not built for it, and I'm not ready for it. But I'm going to stop talking because I've talked for a while, and we're going to get into episode 28, and I'm not happy about it.
誰もがエレンは変わったという。私もそう思った。でも、それは違うのかもしれない。
And that this was always who he was meant to be. That's such a pretty port.
エレンは最初から何も変わっていない。あれがエレン本来の姿だとしたら。
Did you ever really know him?
エレンの何を見ていたのだろう。
Oh, Mikasa. No, don't tell me it's the final season.
本当に壁の外にも街があって。
Was this him doing like reconnaissance? Yeah, so this was before Eren decided to go off on his own to Liberia, right? I probably butchered the pronunciation. Sasha! Yeah. We knew that they must have done something, but we never got to see it, and now we do. Because we kind of got a bit of a flashback to like Connie putting his arms around people. Was it Connie or was it Jean? It might have been Jean. There was like a flashback to them putting their arms around people and like laughing and then having that memory of like what must have been this expedition. So they're able to see these as people and they're able to actually connect with how Reiner, Annie, and Bertold felt because they also then saw them as people but still had to go on and do what they did because they believed it was to save the world. And I mean, with what Eren's going on to do, you can kind of understand why they wanted to save the world because it's a terrifying prospect, the rumbling. It is absolutely horrific. So I can understand why people wanted to put that to an end, not at the cost of ethnically cleansing Paradise and the subject of Ymir, but you can understand why the rumbling was treated so seriously, why it was seen as such a detrimental threat. You can't deny that it is a detrimental threat, but I can also understand why Eren doesn't want to allow anyone to enslave his people any further, but it still doesn't justify what he's gone on to do. But this is going to be such a heart-wrenching episode because we get Sasha back again. Is this going to be like a nice little light-hearted episode before the crushing brutality of the finale?
聞いたろ来る前に。おーいまずいよ。見られて
But
る。
like, what the fuck?
今絶対田舎者だと思われた。
I mean,
民のふりしよせ。
technically you are bumpkins.
奴らを止めねえと鉄の塊に人参食わせようとするぞ。
そんなまさか人参買ってる。
すごい人の数。
Let me try.
ねえエレン、何があるかわからないから私のそばを離れないで。何をぼんやりしてるんだよエレン。僕たち外の世界にいるんだよ。
He looks so exhausted
これが海の向こう側。
because he already knows what he's going on to do, right? He just looks sad that he knows what he's about to inflict on these people.
これください。
毎度あり。
Oh, that looks so good.
サシャン、お前また勝手に。
Let her enjoy herself, okay?
冷てばいこれ。俺にも一口。
アイスクリームは初めてかい。
なんだこれ。うめえばいこれ。俺にも一つください。俺も。
そこの僕、甘いキャンディーは
He thinks he's a child.
君だよ。
Oh, I don't like it.
かっこいいね。ちびっこギャングかな。
He's a grown man. Oh, this episode.
エレンも食べて。
アイス
The calm before the storm, isn't it?
親父の記憶で知ってるだけだ。主翼の LDA 人はめったに食えない。
私たちは気づかなかった。もしくは気づきたくなかったのだろう。
He's already resolved to do what needs to be done. You can just see it in his eyes, like.
それだ。このガキ。また敵国の移民か。
言葉が通じてないな。
Oh, they're about to see the reality
手をへし折ってやろうぜ。二度とすりが
beneath the surface. Sasha's not gonna let that happen.
やりすぎです。私の財布は無事なんですよ。
He's just a kid.
ここで商売して生きてる俺たちの問題だ。
And he's just trying to survive.
悪魔の血がその辺に紛れてちゃ夜も眠れたもんじゃねえよ。おい、あんた何をしている？
誰がスリーだと言った？俺はお前の財布じゃねえと言っただけだ。
Oh, Levi.
このガキの姉貴の財布だってな。
ああ、弟がご迷惑をおかけしました。
ふざけんな！そんなデタラメ！行くぞ！
Not everything is as nice as it first appears. Underneath the surface, the violence and the resentment and the hatred is brewing. The way that they were so happy to inflict violence on this
どこに行きやがった？
migrant child is terrifying. Did he steal his purse now? Oh, for fuck's sake, he rescued you, but
アズ
still,
マ人からもらった小遣いだしな。
he probably is starving and trying to survive just like everyone else.
確かに血液検査の技術向上に伴い世界中で収容から逃れたユミルの民の存在が発覚し問題となっております。
Because guess what? You can't distinguish them because they're people too. Dumbasses. This is the thing. They are people. They are like you. And it's hard to accept that. The only way you can distinguish it is by doing blood tests. Because lo and behold, you're able to live side by side without knowing, without the prejudice, and be peaceful. Wow. Wild concept, isn't it? If they didn't know they were subjects of Emir, everything would be fine. That they can live side by side. They can live in peace. But that xenophobia, that resentment, that need for revenge for the past is so prevalent that they can't allow it. They have to distinguish themselves as superior. It's so frustrating because they can live side by side. They can live in peace. They're choosing not to. And that's the frustrating thing time and time again that we're seeing here is that if the only way you can tell them apart is by doing a blood test, because they're not actually doing anything to harm society, then what is this conflict about? It is just showing the pointlessness of all of it, of the violence, of conflict, that people will just find any reason to fight one another regardless.
パラディ島から友好を図る本計画も極めて困難で
But
あると
not
言わざるを
impossible.
得ません。
かといって和平の道を諦めるならジークの謀略に加担するしかなくなります。
もちろんそんな未来を迎えないために私たちはここに。
So what forces them to decide that there is no option but to go with Zeke's plan? We must see that then in this episode.
どれほどそれが実現可能であるとお見込みですか。
とても困難であることは分かっています。
God, the
とても危険である
OST is absolutely stunning.
だからといって最善を尽くさないことはできないのです。
So the question it's going to come down to is, did they actually give it their best shot before deciding to side with Zeke, or were they thrust into a situation where they didn't have a choice? Where's
エ
Eren?
レンはどこ？
Did Eren give them a choice? Is he crying because he knows what he has to go on and do? Or because he's seeing
自分が敵の最重要目標
the
だって
way
こ
that
とが
people
分
are
かっているの？
treated for the first
みん
time
なであなたを探し回って
beyond his dad's memories?
市場の少年何があったの？
まだ何も。
どういうこと？
Yet.
ここは
He's crying because he knows they're all
戦争
gonna
で命を
die.
亡くした人たちが集まって
Right.
暮らしている。あ、お前のなんだ。
He needs to hear it at least once before everything transgresses and
あなたは家族？
cockbuck.
医者なり日中。
もてなしてくれるみたいだ。
I love that they don't provide subtitles because, like them, we also don't understand his language. We're also on the outside here. That's really clever. This was the guy in the flashback. What happens when they're united with the world and expanded, but all these people are going to die in Eren's plan. I want to cry. Breaking down the borders, breaking down boundaries and unifying each other. It's probably the last time we see Eren so carefree. What have we come across? Oh, Sasha's being sick in the background. I'm so sad.
以前憎むべきは島の悪魔どもに他なりません。忌むべきは100年前よりあの島に逃げた悪魔。我々の敵はあの島の悪魔なのです。
Eren's like, I don't want to hear it.
あの日からエレンは私たちの元を去った。その後彼から届いた手紙にはジークに全てを委ねると記され。
So they didn't even really give Peace a chance. They didn't really get the opportunity to try.
他に選ぶべき選択肢があっただろうか。全ては最初から決まっていたのかもしれない。
Yeah. If things had been different.
もし私が別の答えを選んでいたら。
That she could have changed the course of what was to come. She couldn't have changed it.
違っていたんじゃ
It
ない
would have
か。
happened regardless. Oh, Mikasa. She's blaming herself, but she genuinely could not have prevented Eren from going on to do what he intended. They didn't even really get a chance to go ahead with their plans because Eren left and then entrusted everything to Zeke's plan, and everything that they intended fell to the wayside. So no, they never really got the opportunity to speak and try and broker peace with these people in the way that they initially intended when they came on this expedition, because Eren took matters into his own hands, because Eren has decided essentially that this was what he was going on to do. And he's known for a long time that this is what he's going on to do. But I think that's why he was crying when he was staring at the camp of refugees from previous wars who have lost everything, because he says nothing's happened to them yet. But he knows that when he goes on to do what he intends to do, they will die, just like everyone else will. And it doesn't matter the fact that they showed them hospitality, they showed them what it means to break down barriers and to accept other people, regardless of who they are, regardless of whether they're a subject of Emir or not. They embraced them. They broke bread with them. They shared food and dancing and music and joy, and created a community with them in that brief, short period. And yet they're going to be punished for Malay's view of them and the rest of the world's view of them. But there are innocent people in the world that are going to suffer. I just don't think that's worth the price. I really don't. I think the fact that we're going to lose so many innocent people doesn't justify the means. Creating a genocide to prevent a genocide doesn't justify anything. Peace was never really given a chance. They never really did what they set out to do, because Eren prevented them from being able to do it, because Eren left. Eren entrusted everything to Zeke, and then Eren went on to do what he did with Willy Tiber and consuming the Warhammer Titan, and that sparked everything and all the subsequent events that have then led to the rumbling happening, to justify the rumbling happening. He needed that justification. He needed that excuse to do it. But it's hard not to think, could there have been another way? Could there have been an opportunity to have made a difference if Eren had allowed them to pursue it? And I think that's the bittersweetness, is that we'll never know. We'll never know if things could have been different, because we never had a chance. We never saw it come to fruition or take place. It's just so tragic, really, that Mikasa blames herself somewhat, that if she had given Eren a more intimate answer than saying we're family, then he may have stopped what he was intending. But no, he wouldn't have. That's the thing. He was already resolute on it. He said nothing's happened yet in relation to the people he was looking at, because he knows that that's what's going to happen. Nothing could have changed that. That was going to be happening regardless. That was inevitable. And Mikasa blaming herself for Eren's actions is just part and parcel of her development. But the fact that she's even beginning to question, did I ever really know him? And if he was always like this, what did I ever see in him? She's beginning to pull away from that emotional attachment to him and establish herself as more independent than what she has been. It's been really nice to see her character progression in this series, because she has been so wrapped up in Eren in the previous series. It's been quite hard to really see Mikasa as an individual, whereas now we're getting more of her personality, more of her dynamic, and more of her speaking up and standing on her own 2 feet against Eren, and understanding that she may have to then put herself at odds with Eren, and may even be the one that has to bring him down, because she's the only one that can really get close to him. And yeah, it's just incredibly tragic and sad, the idea that Eren is most likely going to die. I can't foresee Eren surviving Attack on Titan. I can't, because it just wouldn't make sense for peace to be established, or peace, because I don't think peace can ever truly be established, because we've already been seeing that the narrative is driving home the point that violence is always going to happen, regardless. It doesn't matter if it's Titans or if it's other people. There's always going to be a reason or a justification for conflict. So when I say peace, I just mean peace relative to what is happening right now. For that to be established, Eren needs to be out of the picture. But as to how that's going to work with the other Titans in general, I don't know. And how that's going to work with the founding Titan, I don't know. Because then they're just going to be trapped in the cycle again of passing down the Titan every couple of years. But at some point, I think they've just kind of accepted that that's what's going to have to happen. There's no true way to really get rid of the Titans, but it's not the Titans that are the ultimate threat. We know that they see other people as the threat. They just use the Titan blood as a justification for why they despise them, which is actually rooted in the need for revenge because of how they were mistreated 2000 years ago, you know? So the Titan blood isn't the true threat. It is a threat, don't get me wrong, but it's not the only reason why they're justifying what they're doing. We know that there's precious material in paradise that Marley wants and that they need for their technological advancements. So a lot of it is rooted in greed, a lot of it is rooted in historical prejudice, and not a lot of it is actually rooted in the fact that they are Titans. Because they also weaponize that ability. They just use that as an excuse to persecute them, to bend them to their will and their design so they can use them in their battles against other countries, so they can weaponize the Titan aspect. It's not because they actually see them as something to be feared, but rather as something to be used and weaponized. And Paradise is just a means to an end for their technological advancement because they want the precious material underneath. So it's not actually really anything to do with the Titans, why they're having this conflict. It is everything to do with the fact that they want to get rid of the people in Paradise so they can mine the material that they want and need. It's greed, pure and simple. It's human greed and also historical prejudice. And they use the Titans as an excuse rather than it actually being the real reason. Beyond the walls, there is a sea. On the other side of the vast blue sea is a continent. That continent has cities, bustling markets, and all sorts of people living there, just like on the island. But in the outside world, subjects of Ymir are despised more than anything. It's so cute to see Sasha, though, because we really didn't get a lot of her in Series 4. So to have her now, like, towards the end, is just really sad. She got to have ice cream, and I'm so happy for her.
どこからが始まりだろう。あそこか。
Oh, we're back to Eren's perspective.
どこでもいい。すべては俺が望んだこと。すべてはこの先にある。
エレン、世界とエルディア双方を救う術は安楽死計画。これを完遂する他にあり。
Which he'd never agree to. We knew he would never agree to it.
改革の障害となる兵団上層部のみに振る舞いました。ジークはあなたを信じています。あなたもジークを。
憲兵団はお前を巨人にして島に来たジークを食わせる計画を進めている。憲兵と争うか、ここから逃げるしか手はない。
分かってる。争う必要も逃げる。
Was she already pregnant at that point?
この島が生き残る一番堅実な方法があれば、私はそれに従う。
Oh, Historia.
世界を滅ぼす。すべての敵を。この世から。一匹残らず、駆逐する。
そんなの間違ってる。島の外の人すべてが敵じゃないのに。
That's why Historia was so emotional when she saw what Eren was intending to do when he spoke to them in their head.
集結させる唯一の方法は、憎しみの歴史を文明ごとこの世から葬り去ることだ。島の生贄になるためだけに生まれる子を産ませ。
So does she get pregnant to try and prevent Eren from going ahead with this?
私はエレン、あなたを何としてでも止めないと。二度と。
That's why she got pregnant, isn't it?
耐え難いなら、始祖の力で記憶を操作する。それまでお前が黙っていれば。
そんなこと。
できるさ。お前はあの時俺を救ってくれた。世界一悪い子なんだ。
He intends to wipe their memories so they don't remember what he's gone on to do. Wow, Eren.
アッカーマン一族に特有の疾患があるなんて、巨人学や草葉さんからも聞いたことないな。宿主を守る習性？そんなものないと思うぞ。
It was a lie. We knew it was a lie.
なあ、エレン。その行為には正体も習性もやむにやまれる理由もない。
I called it.
お前のためなら巨人をひねり殺せるくらいお前のことが好きなだけだ。
私が子供を作るのはどう？
Fuck me.
俺が死んだ後もずっとあいつらの人生は続いてほしい。
Oh!
幸せに生きていけるように。
But they're not happy at what you're doing, though. I know that that's what he wants for them, but they're not happy that he's killing the rest of the world. They're putting themselves in danger to protect the
この
world.
地球上に存在しうる最も巨大な大砲のほぼ全てが今ここに集結した。人類の英知の全てが同じ目標に狙いを定めている。これを止める手段はもう人類に存在し得ない。
Mantu working together against the threat of Eren. Camaraderie like we've never seen it. God, we're about to see it in full action, aren't we? Eren's gonna decimate this fleet as if it's nothing. He's under the water, isn't he? Wow. Oh my god, they're swimming! I don't know why it never struck me that they'd swim. I thought they'd just be walking through the sea. I thought they were big enough that they could touch the bottom, but I don't know why I'm so shocked at the swimming aspect of it. Oh. Oh! We're about to see the rumbling in full force, aren't we? All the people that are about to die. God, the horror. And yet they're trying so desperately to save their people. They're giving their hearts as best they can. They can't outrun them. Oh my god.
この世から一匹残らず。
Oh, the horror. The inevitable knowledge that you can't outrun that. I don't know why it never came to me that they'd swim. I don't know why I was like, oh my god, they're swimming. But I think in my head that they're so huge. I was like, they'll just walk across the sea, like their feet will touch the bottom, but then obviously that's not the case. That's why I was like, what the fuck? I knew we'd have to see the horrors inevitably of what was to come, but it's just so brutal, so graphic. The way in which that fleet knew that they likely wouldn't succeed, but still banded together, did everything that they could to try because they were the last line of defense, and Eren blasted through them as if they were nothing rather than living human beings. That is a horrific sight of him. He's huge. He's huge. Just terrifying, the thought of knowing that that is the last thing you'll ever see, is those colossals coming to your hometown, that titan coming to reap havoc upon the world. But there's so many innocent people that are going to pay the price for this, and that's what Historia is trying to say. She's like, there's so many innocent people, I can't allow you to do this. And he's like, you can, because you saved me and you're the worst girl in the world. But now I'm like, is that why she got pregnant? Did she get pregnant as a way of trying to deter Eren, as a final way of trying to protect the rest of the world by accepting that this is what her fate was going to be, and trying to get Eren to see it from her perspective, that she was maybe not happy that the cycle continues, but willing at least to do it because it would protect humanity as a whole. And that's what she gave her heart to. That's what she intends to do. She's not happy with what Eren's going on to do, and it doesn't seem like she eventually agrees with him, because she says, "What if I get pregnant?" As if to try and find a way around Eren's plan. And she does get pregnant. So I'm thinking then it's her sacrifice to make to try and prevent the rumbling. That's her way of sacrificing her future for the benefit of paradise, but the benefit of the rest of the world too, in attempt to establish peace and to protect the innocent people of the world. She's not the worst girl in the world if that's what she's intended to do. And if that's why she's done it, then I completely take back what I said about her being pregnant being a horrible choice, because now it makes a lot more sense. I just wish we'd had more context of it and more build up to it. The fact that they never got to try and broker peace, that they never got to try and actually speak with the rest of the world, because Eren just took it upon himself. Eren just made the decision for them, pushed them in that direction without ever really giving them the opportunity to do what they intended to do during the expedition. Even after meeting with those refugees and bonding with them and getting to know them and being welcomed, not hated or subjected to prejudice, but actually embraced as one of them, even though they couldn't speak the same language, even though they're from different places, different nationalities. They gave them food, drink, hospitality. And the fact that Eren's still willing to go ahead and do what he intends is just absolutely heart-wrenching, because nothing is going to stop him. Nothing's going to stand in his way. And we know that now. And you can also understand why we got that flashback of that meeting with the elderly man in the refugee camp. We had that image of Jean and Connie and him, and I was like, what? When did that happen? We never got to see that. And now it makes so much more sense. They're remembering these people. They're remembering these innocent lives that are going to be impacted and that are going to suffer. These people that embraced them, welcomed them, and fed them and treated them as if they were one of their own. How can you sit back and allow Eren to destroy the world when you know there's such hospitality and beauty in it, when you know there are people in this world that do not hate you, that do not condemn you, that are willing to accept and establish peace if given the chance, if given the opportunity? But you were never given that chance, never given that opportunity, because Eren went ahead and did what he felt needed to be done. And I completely understand where they're coming from, because I also would feel the exact same way if I had seen the hospitality, if I had experienced that and seen that there is beauty in the outside world beyond what we've been taught. Why would we want to break ourselves away from that? Why would we want to destroy this diversity? Why would we not want to try for something different, even though it's a difficult path to follow? Both Hanji and Armin were aware that the success would be low. It was worth trying to do, whether it succeeded or not. And seeing Eren and Zeke have that conversation where Zeke is like, yeah, no, that's not how it works. We knew that Eren was lying to her. He was attempting to push her away for her own protection. He didn't want her involved in what was going on ahead. It was his way of keeping her safe and at a distance, because I think in a way he also didn't want to see the hate and disgust that would come from it, or her putting her life at risk by standing against the others in order to protect him. But she's already begun to distance herself from him because she's questioning whether she truly knew him. And I love in this episode that we got the duality. We have the first half of the episode is Mikasa and her feelings and thoughts, and then we actually get Eren's perspective, and we haven't had Eren's perspective really in series 4. So getting to see his view, especially in relation to how he came up with the lie in relation to the Ackerman blood, but also how he is already hinting heavily at what he's going to do by saying nothing's happened to the refugees yet, because we know that that yet relates to the rumbling. His conversation with Historia, where he's like, well, you saved me, so you have to allow this to happen, because I'm not going to allow parents to be eaten by their kids any longer. And We also got to see Eren injure himself to then hide amongst the Malians. We get to see basically how it all leads up to what we saw at the beginning of series 4, which is incredible. The amount of foreshadowing when you look back to now in this episode, being able to then go, aha, this is how it all connects and how it all makes sense. I loved, though, how beautiful and fun everything was at the beginning, that you had these bright colors, everyone was so friendly and lovely and welcoming, and then you start to see the xenophobia, the racism, the violence, the call for violence against a child who's just trying to survive after being subjected to war and untold cruelty and has lost everything. He's just trying to survive like anyone else would in that situation. And they are calling for blood, essentially. And they're able to see that not everything is what it appears on the surface. There are rotten people here, but not everyone is like that. And we have seen that again in this episode. Not everyone is like that. There are innocent people here too. But it was just a way in which we then began to see it unravel before their eyes. Like this idea that everything is beautiful and these people are like themselves. And then they begin to see that hatred kind of come to the surface and they're like, oh God, this is really bad. Like we're in a dangerous situation. It kind of reiterates to them like where they actually are, because they were so sort of lost in the source, essentially. Like they were so overwhelmed by all the new technology and the new foods that they kind of weren't really aware of just how serious the whole situation was until they started to hear them talk about, well, he could be a subject of Emir, he's a thief, he's a migrant that snuck on a boat, we have to like break his hand so he never does it again. It's just the duality of it. It's just the way that it begins to unravel, the beauty on the surface but the rottenness underneath. But again, we can't use that as a justification for what Eren is doing, because not everyone is like that, and we see that in this episode. And just, God, the rumbling is horrifying. It is absolutely horrifying. It is a weapon of mass destruction on a global scale. It almost feels like an allegory for nuclear weapons, because the amount of devastation it's going to cause is going to be worldwide impact. Same as nuclear weapons, which is why nuclear weapons are so scary. But I think that's all I have to say in relation to this episode. Thank you so much for watching, and if you enjoyed this react, please consider liking, subscribing, and leaving a comment below to help boost this video into the algorithm. And until next time, bye!